Have you ever heard a child describe a peer as nice or not nice? Preschool is emerging capacity for applying categories to people's called person perception, or the ability to classify others. For example, by age 5 or so, children are capable of using trait labels such as nice and not nice to describe others. Moreover, children of this age make judgments very similar to those of adults when asked to identify the most intelligent child in their class or playgroup. Moreover, they describe their peers in terms of traits such as grumpy and mean. They also make statements about other people's patterns of behavior. Grandma always lets me pick the cereal at the grocery store. They use these observations to classify others into groups such as people I like and people I don't like. However, young children's observations and categorizations of people are far less consistent than those of older children. Playmate they judge to be nice one day may be referred to as mean the next. Developmentalists have found that young children's judgments about others are inconsistent because they tend to base them on their most recent interactions with those individuals. In other words, a 4-year-old girl describes one of her playmates as nice on Monday because she shared a cookie but as mean on Tuesday because she refuses to share a candy bar. Wow. Or the child declares, I don't like grandma anymore because she made me go to bed early. Wow. Preschoolers also categorize others on the basis of observable characteristics such as race, age, and gender. For example, the cross-race effect, a phenomenon in which individuals are more likely to remember the faces of people of their own race than those of people of a different race, is established by age 5. Similarly, they talk about big kids and little kids, their age mates, and they seem to know that they fit in best with the latter. Self-segregation by gender, a topic you'll read more about later in this chapter, begins as early as age 2. Likewise, young children sometimes segregate themselves according to race. See research report. If you attended a formal dinner at which the forks were on the right side of the plates rather than on the left, would you be upset? Probably not, because social conventions such as customs that govern people to place flatware are rules that have nothing to do with our fundamental sense of right and wrong. Consequently, most of us are not troubled when they are violated and take a dim view of people who are bothered by such trifles. By contrast, we have little tolerance for the breaking of rules that we view as having a base in morality, such as laws that forbid stealing and unwritten rules like the one that prohibits you from flirting with your best friend's romantic partner or with your romantic partner's best friend. When and how did we learn to make those distinctions? Social cognitive theorists have found that children begin to respond differently to violations of different kinds of rules between 2 and 3. For example, if you're taking another child's toy without permission as a more serious violation of rules than forgetting to say thank you. They also say, just as adults would in response to similar questions, that stealing and physical violence are wrong even if their particular family or preschool has no explicit rule against them. This kind of understanding seems to develop both as a consequence of preschool's increasing capacity for classification and as a result of adults' tendency to emphasize transgressions that have more overtones more than violations of customs and other arbitrary rules when punishing children.